subscribe, yo. You know what I mean? But that was
a
really
lovely
fake.
mother.
Yeah, I did.
Well, listen, we're gonna go back into sex work. Why don't we? I'll let you kick it off, Sheen. I know you had a couple questions. So
Yes, kind of related to the real or fake question. We had a conversation before about the fact that and I never thought about it this way, there's no women behind the camera, behind the scenes, and so it definitely
Not many.
or they are.
I don't know, possibly. What if
Yeah.
there are that we haven't? Because I didn't look.
Yeah,
I
they
wouldn't
are.
know.
There are.
There might be.
But I think about how, like the vast majority of are men that are behind the scenes, and how that could really distort perceptions about, distort all of our perceptions about the way that
Women's sexuality.
right, like
things
how
of that nature.
how we respond to sex, and just like the names, like when you look at like
Categories.
exactly,
Yeah.
right. So do you think that if, let's say for instance, that the general scope is that people are against legalizing prostitution, do you think that maybe the scope would change if we had better examples from the adult film industry about, think about if women were behind the camera, if you think about a Zane book, and a Zane book actualized on film, if you're looking at a adult film and it's there's an interaction that's happening that's consensual, that doesn't look as forceful, do you think that maybe the scope would change if more women were behind the camera and we could control more what we wanted to see? The sexual interactions that we're seeing is more based off of what a woman wants to see, about what a woman wants to experience, or what she would want a sexual encounter to be like.
To it.
Yeah, there would be more truth to it, definitely.
Yeah, so it's important to point out that majority of the producers and how porn is directed is for a male audience, because most women don't even, this is something we talked about too, most women don't even admit that they watch porn, or maybe we all individuals, we watch it for different reasons. I think most men watch it to learn how to do it. I apologize so much for every person that's watched porn, crazy porn, and thought that that's how you do it, because every woman is so different. Every woman is so different. Every woman likes so many different things. So you should really go slow with whichever partner you're with. And
That's
yes,
true.
I really think that if women would have the opportunity, the interest to get behind the camera, that you would see a very different perspective. All of us have different things to offer with our views, but one thing I've always wanted to work on, me and some of my friends talked about it, was we'd never seen real lesbian porn. I've seen, and this is a real genre. I think it's lipstick
lesbians.
Yes,
Lipstick
and so it's very, most of the, so I really I'm attracted to women in real life, and I don't mix fruits and vegetables.
I don't mix fruits and vegetables.
I don't like
never heard
being
that
with
shit.
that. What I mean by I don't like men and women at the same time. And I think
you're never dating a man and a woman. If you have
that.
Mixed
I'm not into it.
I ain't never heard that shit.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard
It's
that.
messy.
Facts, yo.
You're welcome.
I fucks with it.
I want all of that. If y'all want to.
But can I backtrack just a little bit?
Yeah.
So can you at least tell us how long you've been in the industry, and then why'd you leave the industry?
I can't tell you how long I was in it. I had such a weird response to it, so I blanked everything out. Feel a little bit feeling shameful, and not understanding how to understand my experience, I guess. So no, I don't. Sometimes I don't know. When people say how many scenes, how many this, I have not watched them. I've seen some. One time someone showed me. I don't even want to see it. I'm sure that says something about how I feel. Why I left it is real simply because I started becoming woke, and so the more I started to, it just didn't feel right. And not to say that the women that are in it, because I've thought many times after shutting my website down, after stopping all of these things, that financially was easier, but for my soul was heavy. All of those things, when I tried to transition into a different kind of woman, because it started to feel gross to me, and I started hating the things I had to say. So there's an interview that I saw on YouTube, and I'm at my friend's house, and it's so embarrassing. I sound ridiculous, and I'm saying bullshit because it's like, oh my God, why are you in this, girl? Because I love to fuck, and yes, like I'm comfortable in my sexuality, but in real life, like you want all of these stuff.
Yeah.
So were you just saying it to sell?
I think
the movies or the scenes, or was it like
you want to
these are
sell
like
your
scripts
product.
that they're giving you, like, yo, we need you to say this?
No one gave me a script.
Okay.
No one gave you a script or anything, but you kind of hear a common, you hear that in most of the women in the industry because it's kind of a protective thing, because how stupid, I'm sure, like, there's gonna be people that are gonna be like, you sound dumb because how can you be against it, but that was what you were doing. It's just,
I think that it's a process, because I can think that, for instance, like for a lot of women who have relaxers for a long time, they go to the extreme opposite where they say like relaxers are the devil and they preach to people, and then like
chop
I think
it
that
off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Do the big chop, go through your ugly phase or whatever the case may be, and then like I think it's just like a process. Like I always say, like no one is 100% woke. Like we all have some views that are problematic. You know what I mean?
Different levels of wokeness.
Absolutely.
Shout out to our guest Steven. He said it's a lifelong journey.
Absolutely.
So.
It's something that you like never stop learning. So I think that that's okay for people who've been in the industry and left it to have like a wide variation of different perspectives. Like I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And especially if it's like your own, no one can take your truth away from you. No one can take your experiences away from you. Like this is based off of, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Also, my mom passed away.
Oh wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, okay.
Well,
did your mom know about what you was doing?
You know what? We had a weird yeah, she did. Not in the beginning. I think one day I just came out and told her, but I had a really good relationship with her, so it was very weird. She wasn't like, oh yes, but she wasn't like, I can't fucking believe you either. It was like, damn.
When you opened up to her, was that like a kind of was a weight lifted? You know what I mean? I always feel like if I did something behind my mother's back, eventually if I like told her, I would feel better
Free.
about it, or like some kind of freeing, so was there, like, did that happen? Did you have that weight lifted once you came?
I didn't have that type of relationship with my mom where I would feel, so
you never really hid much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because like her as an example, there was nothing that I thought I would do that would outshame her shit. No disrespect, Mom, I love you, but I've learned from you.
No, that's right.
But like honestly, like that. Yeah. So like with my other friends that are like really scared, that's what I mean. If you're scared and ashamed to do certain things, most women that are not going to get into this business, or maybe they thought about it, it's because you don't want your family to see you. Women who don't give a fuck because maybe their family's not there.
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you mean as well.
So what was your obviously you eventually came out of it, so I have an idea of what your experience was, but like at the same time I don't. How would you describe your overall experience with it? Like starting off, was it great? You know what I mean? Did you feel good about it?
I did. Starting off, I felt very good about it, but it was also because I felt differently about myself. I felt happy that I was independent and I was making mad money. Right. Mad money's relative.
So what's mad money? I was about to ask, like, what's mad money?
Wait, hold on, come on. I think it's sloppy to talk about numbers.
I'm not going to give specific numbers, but I think
by
white
people how much do they make. I mean,
I think our audience would like to know roughly what's like research, what kind of money are actors making in the industry.
There's different type of money for
like, how about you ain't gotta say exact, but like roughly for like a scene, right? How much are they like making?
Depends on the
acts, right?
Not just the acts, but also the actress. So most women in like LA, most women that were in is it Porn Valley or
Silicon Valley?
Is it Silicon Valley? I feel like that's the tech.
Yeah, that's the tech industry.
And I don't know, but I don't know.
I'm like Silicon Valley guys.
over there.
Whenever
that's what I'm saying,
I heard Silicon
right,
Valley, I'm
they
just like,
probably
oh, fake titties everywhere. But
Silicon.
it's actually like a bunch of.
That's what I thought maybe somebody
so
made
you're
a
saying
parody
Silicon
of that.
Valley, they be... I got you.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, am I the only one that got that mixed up?
Oh, I got
just
you.
like
No, I thought
nearsighted and farsighted. I'm like, oh,
I thought you were saying the tech giants was paying over there.
no, I thought that it was like a
Right,
parody.
let me find out Google making
right.
movies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because I
For
initially
real.
heard that like porn was supposed to be like a parody of, you know, like typical movies in the industry, because it was supposed to be like poking fun at all of like, you know, like all of like the strict rules of like what you can and can't show in like a regular movie. And so that's why like porn movies have, you know, parody titles of like common like blockbuster films. You know what I'm saying?
sometimes, but that's like when I think the ones you see like that are like done really well, and that's when the producer really gives a fuck about his art. And I love those. I'm entertained, and now I get the beauty behind those type of names.
Yo, right on that.
But what was he? But back to the
Yeah, so my
prices.
question was like, yeah, like on average, like how much? Well, how about this? An entry level sister, right? Like amateur, like yo, she's an amateur in the game.
keyword sister.
Yeah, so yeah, like a black woman,
Okay.
right? Going into this industry, how much money is she gonna make from a scene, and how much money, or how many scenes will she have to do to actually make a living out of the adult film industry?
Things are a lot different now. I think the industry is really saturated, and
Right.
there's many
That is true too.
young
Yeah.
ladies very willing and wanting to like get into it, and before it was not like that. And
So was it because the supply was so
I'ma
low? Were
be
y'all
alright.
demanding more
I'm
back
gonna be
then?
as honest as not that I'm lying, but I am gonna. Yeah,
Oh, keep it real, yo.
protecting
Zero
myself
fucks
a bit.
given, yo. Zero
Yeah, I got
fucks.
you. Do your thing, do your
Definitely
thing.
do that.
So I'm embarrassed. If you can pick up on some shit, you can hear my hesitance to give a number is because I'm not happy. Now that I realize, like, what the fuck did I do with my image? What did I allow? What did I sign off on? I cannot believe this shit. Really, young ladies, think of this. If you are popular right now, really, I'll talk about one thing that I was offered. I didn't do it, but I don't want to say their name. I don't want to advertise for them.
Nah,
I hate
nah.
them.
Nah, you ain't even gotta do that.
Like a
no
company, manager, an agent,
A
whatever.
stupid white company.
Trust me, I already-
Edelgate, Aggers.
Yo, niggas
Gay.
be yo,
Y'all
yo,
should
facts,
Yeah,
yo.
No.
I know
Okay,
you're
true.
talking about.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I agree with that.
like y'all can't be okay with your souls.
Nah, yes.
And any one of you who have black girlfriends, they hate themselves. Like they can't be with you and love themselves.
Yeah.
I hate the I'm not racist because I have a spouse of color card. I
Yes, you are.
absolutely hate
Yes,
that.
you are.
I absolutely hate that.
They
Fuck them
offered.
devils. You know what I'm saying?
I think they offered. Oh God, it's embarrassing. They offered about $900 for a blowjob scene, and I really wanted to do it because I wanted the money for such a short thing, for such a short amount of time, and it would have been okay, but the name of the company really bothered me. Ghetto's in the name, and I'm not fucking with y'all at all. And whoever called me that day and kept on trying to like up the prices, he put a lot of pressure on me. He could hear he could hear me almost breaking because I was like, I mean, fuck it, I need the money. He got to $1,500 and was just like, it'll be 30 minutes. Like you're in and you're out. 30 minutes. 3 scenes, 3 different BJ scenes or whatever. And
You also mentioned too, like they don't tell you the shit that they say to you.
this is what it is. I had no idea. Like I had no idea how crazy it was. Like I did not do it myself, but I went on YouTube.
Yeah,
I went,
thank
I've
God,
seen
yo.
a few. I watch stuff.
Yeah, I
People
can't
send me
look
stuff.
at it. Yeah.
So I saw some. I was really proud of. I want us to research this and then go back and put her name. Because there was an actress that she did start to do it, and then she stopped it in the middle of it. Like she was gonna be paid, and they were doing it, and the things that she was saying, the things that they were saying to her was just so degrading, and it was just ridiculous. Because honestly, it's not about the blowjob; it's about paying a black woman to degrade her and do all this ridiculous, crazy shit. And really, white dudes and whoever likes to watch this shit, think about why you like that. Think about why that shit makes you feel good, because
It's fucking
You could
disgusting.
never.
It's so
Yo,
disgusting.
I remember the Young Turks, right?
Man.
Yo, I was watching the Young Turks, and then they were talking about like the X video, Pornhub, and all that, like all of
those
like the
tube joints,
all the tube joints, right? And they were saying they showed like a graph, but they split up Black and Ebony. But if you combine the two, those are the highest viewed porn, like out of all categories. But they purposely split those up, and I was like, why would they purposely split those up? And I think they do these type of things strategically, right, to show like this is what white people confront all they want.
Right.
But yo, they literally love Black people. They want to see Black men. They want to see Black women.
Yeah.
Even if they are racist and they have that deep-seated hatred.
Do they
And
tell?
just by no, they do not. What they
That shit
say
crazy.
is it's a really nice, charismatic white dude that's all like, "Hey, girl." He doesn't sound gay.
There's
I
no
would've
way,
bit it
son.
off.
There's no way,
do
son. Like,
you know the name of the company before you go in, or is it disguised as like
I think it's disguised. It's definitely all right. So the first few conversations to even get you on the phone is disguised. It's not like, "Hey,
Right.
bitch, you gonna be degraded." It's like, "Hey, we're about to give you mad money."
but they don't
for
tell
something
you
mad
what you're gonna
simple.
do.
But it's just like a house in real estate. Like, why the fuck does this house? Why the fuck does this house cost $3? Because it's an ancient burial ground underneath it. Like, that's
I
why.
got you.
Because why am I getting so much money for
Now, what did
such-
you ask? You said they don't tell you what? I thought you said something like, I thought you asked something like they don't tell you something before.
Listen,
Oh,
Rarity
yeah,
of
like, yeah, do they tell you what they're gonna do and what they're gonna say to
They
you?
sugarcoat everything. They are sugarcoating it. Like,
And do you
I
get
mean,
paid
as far as
once you get paid once the scene's completed, or they pay you in advance?
you get paid up front. And if you're, I mean, that's just standard. Like,
Oh, so they pay you up front, and you could just say, yo, so like, because this is where I'm confused.
not only
They
do you
give
get
you
paid,
the
wait,
bread,
time out. You
But
get,
they're gonna violate you. Why can't I would have just been like,
Time
I'm
out.
out of here. You know
not
what I'm
only do you get paid up front, like
Mm-hmm.
if I want the content and you're my model, I'm paying you, I'm making you really comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're signing my is it
Like a
90, is it 5211 or 1157? It's a form that I'll give to a government, to whoever, if they ask me. I had permission. This person was not intoxicated. They are of age.
No, I see what you're saying. It's just like they're saying
Make it
that you
smooth.
consented to it, you're of age, you know, you were with it no matter, and you're signing that before you shoot the scene.
The lack of financial literacy plus lack of self-worth makes you do a lot, you know. Not makes you, has you agreeing to a lot.
So how difficult is it to actually like say, you know what, I'm done, and you just like, I'm out
As
of here.
difficult as it is for crack dealers to stop selling that, it's not, no one wants to kill their community. We have all seen what it do. We've all seen no one to be Nino Brown. But everybody wants that money, and all of us have some difficulty in creating income for ourselves, especially the youth that have not been directed well. And when I think about all of my neighbors, all of the people in my community that maybe at first I used to be mad at them because my mom had a heroin problem, and so that had a lot to do with her lack of mothering and my lack of direction. So these are all patterns that this goes back to the beginning of majority of the people that I know who have gone to college.
It's difficult because it's just like I always say that, like, okay, when we look at, you know, different situations that happen, there's a million different circumstances that bring you to that one. Like, in this day and age now, we talk about like consent, right? Like consent is like a hot button topic. So, and speaking before about like the idea of the concept that marriage does not constitute consent. Some people might look at like a story about a woman who's in a relationship with someone for a long time, and her boyfriend like rapes her, sexually assaults her, or whatever the case may be. That's debated and that's questioned. Or if like a woman who works in the sex industry is sexually attacked or sexually assaulted, there's the idea or the argument that that's warranted because, well, she should expect that, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Well, I got another question. So now that you're out the game, how does it feel to just be a civilian? You know what I mean? Like, is it easy living like a typical normal life?
Absolutely not. First, I just want to say I my stuff was amateur. Like, I was not that popular. I think there's so many other women out there that they really made a business of it, and I wish I had more. I'm gonna use that phrase again, financial literacy, because I would have been able to build up my stuff.
So when you went in the game, you didn't have like a manager.
I did not have a manager. I had a bunch of friends that advised me to the best of their ability, and for what they experienced, they felt like most of the people felt like I was too. My friends would be like you don't love that money, yo. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you want to be in love and shit. Like, what the fuck, Kush? My other nickname. But I was with my grandmother on the train platform, and this dude came up to me, and he was like, Italia. And I was like, no, please. Like, I was giving all of the, oh my God, like, please.
Right,
and so my grandmother knew something was up, but I stepped in front of her, and I was like, that's my grandmother. Like, please go away. Like, and he was just like, oh, I love your work. And I was like, yeah, come to the center anytime. Like,
yo, but you look like you could look like other people. So, like, why can't you just be like, I don't know what you're talking about, bruh?
And that has been my answer, and anyone who I've ever, if you've known it's me, and I've been like, no, and no habla inglés. Like, sometimes I'll just,
I'm dead ass. I will believe you.
Constantly I'll be like,
oh, shit, I fucked up.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm just embarrassed. I don't know what to say. One time,
And it's also like the panic of like somebody, you know, it's a big bluff to chance, but I do feel like you could, you know, just be like, I don't know who you're talking about, whatever.
Embarrassed, and I don't know sometimes what to say.
That nigga tell you what, nigga?
Yeah.
I have a old boss that gave me a lot of encouragement. He was just like, yeah, that's actually what he said. He was just like, anytime someone tries to make you feel uncomfortable or tries to like play that, you know, fuck you used to be a slut type card, not that that's a specific card, but you know, just to be like, that's not my name, and not to
I know, like, just ways to kind of like deflect if you're ever in that situation.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's changed a lot of things. Like, honest. All right, so this is, if I had been popular for all of the books or all of the interesting things I say, like, I have odd idiosyncrasies, like, but majority of people know me for this stuff I did on video, and unfortunately, that's my stereotype.
Is that image
haunting you to this day?
Haunting, yeah. I feel like I'm constantly trying to understand and put out. I'm very much aware of my image, and so yeah, 2008, 2009, when I first stopped, I became a fake square. And so I think that was my way. Yeah, that was my way of trying not to. I didn't want to be slutty. I was like, I'm not a hoe. I'm not doing this no more. You know.
Yeah.
But I went to the extreme of, like, not even caring about my image. Like,
so, would you say that with that in mind, right? Do you think that your sexuality is part of your identity? Like, remove the fact that you used to do this. Is your sexuality, your interest in that, is that a part of who you are, would you say?
I don't know. I think
because you were because you said you purposely tried to kind of make yourself this square to, like, just completely ostracize yourself from that, right? But if that's really, you know what I mean? Like, if that's really kind of like what you're, you know, into or whatever, you know what I mean? Not that you have to continue being like a sex worker or anything like that, but like if that is part of like your identity, do you think it's something that you have to hide, I guess, you know?
So I don't think you should have to, but in our society, with the things that I want personally, I kind of have to remold it. I have to figure this stuff out. And this has been, I talk to Sheens all the time about this. I'm really fucked up about it.
But, like, what kind of things did you want that you feel like you have to, like, suppress a piece of you?
All right. So I want the type of man or woman I would want to be with would not want me to be doing this type of work.
Wait, yeah.
And so the image that you put out there has to do with what you want to come back to, you know. And so I just would not show my cleavage ever, but then I'm like, but why? But sometimes I want to,
yeah,
you know. Or sometimes I'm like, I don't know, was too sexy.
Like, where do you draw
sexual?
the line? Like, what's the
what's
border?
too sexual, and then what's like, put some care into your fucking image. Like, why do you not give a fuck about your image at all? So you got, like, I think that, like, if you can combine that, you can have a nice little combination.
Because I feel like guys, not trying to make a generalization or whatever the case would be, but guys are gonna like degrade you regardless of what you're wearing. You know, I see like older women get harassed on the street. Like, you could be wearing a ton of layers, and guys are still gonna, like, you know, bother you on the street or whatever the case may be.
In different ways, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Fu made that Patrice O'Neal joke with the pencil skirt.
What joke?
Her ass looked fat in the pencil skirt.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just to speak
Dave
to,
Chappelle had a joke about,
regardless
like,
of what you wearing,
a woman's breast
I mean?
popping out of a turtleneck, and I that joke still doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, how does it pop out the top of a turtleneck?
Well, that's why it was so absurd. I think he was saying, like, your titties are so big they can come out your turtleneck. Like,
yeah, right.
How big are those titties that they
like
have to come out her turtleneck?
Right, I was like saying, like, is he saying like her shirt's real tight or whatever the case may be? But like, when I look at like Joanne the Scammer, you know, he had a past in adult films and then just had the attitude of, whatever, I want to make viral videos in the likeness of this, like, character. Yeah.
So, no, go ahead.
Well, kind of to continue on with what you're saying.
She's on fire today.
I'm just, you know what I mean? Like how difficult is it to actually find a significant other after, you know, the porn industry?
It depends on your standards.
So, like, talking about your standards.
And so, all right, so my DMs...
Are you having, like, a difficult time?
My DMs before looked crazy. And it was like, but what do you expect? This is what I put out there. And I would sit there and I'd be mad and I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Why do you all want to fuck? Why do you want to...
Yo, one thing I wanted to ask, right? One thing I do want to ask is that, ideally, is there a way for people to introduce themselves to you if they know you, like if they recognize you? Like, I know, like, when I imagine, like, when you're out and people know who you are and they don't know if they should say anything or if they should just be like,
I can fucking tell. Like, I know when you're giving these weird fucking innuendos, like, do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Would you prefer people to
just... The fucked up thing is when someone's, like, being genuine and they're like, yo, did we go to high school? I'm like, fuck you, nigga.
Right. Would you prefer...
like, I be bothered.
Like, I didn't go to school in this city. What are you talking about? But would you prefer people to just spit it out? Or...
Yes. Well, all right. Well, I don't know. It depends on the situation. It depends. So,
I guess there's no one answer to that, but... Yeah.
I think for the most part, I would prefer you to be upfront. I do not want you faking as if, like, you have no idea and then by mistake it comes out that you did know. Or if, like, I see some and then I'm like, the unknown is scary for everyone, right? And so the unknown for me is, how long have you been knowing this, and what are your intentions behind it? And I'm not trying to be paranoid, but I've had some crazy interactions and I'm really thankful that I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful that I have a lot of... I'm really thankful.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I imagine there's probably situations you've been followed, you've been harassed, or, you know...
I've had these really crazy calls, and I've had somebody tell me about, like, real personal information, and they were anonymous. And so that's really scary.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Hair standing up.
Yeah.
That it was very scary. So I called him my ex-boyfriend. He's a New York City police officer. And he protected him. He protected him. Yeah. So one time I was cool with
One time was cool.
That's one time.
Yeah. For all my police listeners, I was just joking. I'm just serious. No, I'm playing.
It was my past. It was my past.
But yo, so I'm just curious. So like moving forward, I just wanted to get back to like what you were talking about, like just the identity and trying to like get past that and like moving on with it. Like, is there anything in my you're literally at this point where you're trying to reshape and redefine who you are, right?
Redirecting, like that thing that the map does when you're driving, you go the wrong way.
Yeah.
My life has been redirecting like a motherfucker.
Recalculating.
Yes, life recalculations.
So you're recalculating. Do you feel like maybe, because I think
Trajectory.
in the times that I've spoken to you, you appear to have a great mind, So I think that you literally, because all those things are just things that are being placed out in public. So do you think that maybe you just need to, share more of yourself? You know what I mean? Because that's just one sliver, And instead of hiding it, maybe more so just being more outspoken about these other issues, topics, other creative ways.
Well, yeah. The more comfortable I become with myself and my experience, my past and where I'm going, the more I'm able to be truthful about it. If I can be honest about, how I've gotten to a certain place, then I can change what I didn't like.
Right.
And what do you hope for? I'm sorry, continue.
No, that was good.
What do you hope for, like, young girls? Because I know that it was concerning that you said that young girls would like approach you and talk about like wanting to get into the business, and
it would bother me so much because I would be upset, like, this is not what I've put. This is not me. And so there's two sides of me too, right? There's one side that be broke sometimes, and I see certain people, and I'm like, man, I could really mold you into something. And you all like directable too, and nasty with no morals and nothing. Like, this wouldn't even be a problem for you. Like, I could just, but then I'm just like, fuck. Like, what am I adding? What piece of the puzzle am I adding to this when I could have really just been honest with her? And so usually that's the route I choose to go. I'm like, hey, yeah, of course. I've just had to change my approach with how I naysay the business. But most of the time they're like, well, some, not, no.
I think that you give like it's a truthful and honest perspective.
Just psychologically, I don't know what you're expecting or what you're thinking can happen. What is the longevity of this business? At what age do you think you're going to be able to continue this? And let's be really real right now with Instagram and all of these like, oh my God, all this eye candy for free with and there's no sex or anything like that. And you don't even want that, because some of the porn that I've done myself and seen, it looks nasty and poorly done, and it's
some
kind
of it gets really gross with it. Sometimes the camera's shaky, or like, the edits aren't consistent.
But you're right though. Like, when you think about it, like now, Instagram models, they're making careers now. They could go on tour, go to different clubs, make some bread, So it's like, do you really have to do like a sex scene, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? When
that's a good point.
You can make like a legit hustle just off of social media, like you know what I'm saying. So
what I would really like to see, and I wouldn't mind being behind the camera for this, is videotaping couples, because I want to show real sex. I didn't have real sex. I didn't enjoy my sex.
you say that, right?
Now some of my exes might get it.
We mean like in front of the camera, or are you talking about
camera, or
if
in
they
real life?
They sucked, Like, that's just what it is.
Niggas just gotta step it up.
Yeah, that's all.
My nigga, you ain't had the juice.
Yeah, that sauce.
But so, kind of like earlier you talked about it, right? But like, let's say the industry now is more women run, right? Where now you control what you want to see, and you can control pretty much like how to protect the sisters that are participating in this film industry. If you had that type of power and control, would you then go back into the industry, or would you still say, you know what, I'm all good, like I'm not going back?
No, I think for the most part, because of like my definition, or what I was taught, the definition of motherdom is like, you can't be involved openly with sex, with anything. That has a lot to do with, like, because I've struggled with a lot of different things, with like like, what do I do with my name? Like, what can I do with this? Is there anything I can do? Do I want to do anything with it? And most of the time it's no, because I have a child. I have a son. And what my biggest fear, and I don't know how I can stop this, it feels inevitable. I hope I'm not speaking this up, but how, like, it's going to happen. And at some point, he's either going to hear from someone or he's going to see it. I don't want him to be caught off guard, so I constantly, I'm like, yo, how do I have this fucked up conversation? Like,
well, I'm going to say, I know, well, my mom's never did porn, but I think if you're honest with your son, he can understand.
And making sure he's not caught off guard.
Yeah, because like, think about it. There's a lot of brothers that have
future
like
enemies. Imagine, like.
But yo, there's a lot of brothers that have like mothers that were crackheads, heroin addicts that were like sucking dick in the in the project hallways and shit. So it's like brothers know that, and but they understood like, yo, you at that time weren't you in your right state of mind. Like, and not to mention too, like the porn industry, like they prey on
I wasn't my
young
right state
women.
of mind, unfortunately. That was my state of unfortunately. Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is, yeah, but think about it. You was like young. You was like what, 18, 19? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
yo,
I don't think that
imagine me at
necessarily
18,
has to
19.
be.
I ain't think like how I'm thinking right now in my 30s.
What
you know
does
what I'm
right
saying?
state of mind mean?
Well, maybe not right state of mind, but you were in a different state of mind.
Yeah, you was in a
Definitely.
different state of mind. So it's like, like when we were younger.
And I like my mind state more now.
Yeah, exactly. So like when we were younger, materialism is like, the stuff that doesn't matter. I remember when I was 18, I was so happy just to move out of my mom's crib.
Right.
Reckless thinking, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm old, I'm like, damn, yo, I should have like stayed at my mom's crib and paid myself rent so I could just buy a house. I'm thinking all of that now, but back then I was like, yo, I'm independent, I'm free, I'm paying rent. You know what I mean? I'm bugging. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely bugging. So that's why I'm like us in our younger stages. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us are ashamed at something, but it's like. I just feel like we owe it to our children to explain to them, hey, I made several mistakes. I want you to be better than me. You see what I'm saying? And it's not for them to be ashamed.
I feel like it's better coming from
you,
the parent, from you.
Yeah, from you than from them hearing it from their boys. Like, yo, bruh.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Another thing that I think that is really important to keep in mind is that, the information coming from you trumps and supersedes anything, right?
I just wonder how to do it.
Yeah, and I think another thing is that, like, armoring our kids with not just, like, being able to, like, physically protect themselves, but really just giving them the understanding, like, look, I can't be everywhere. You're going to hear something. You can either come back with some zingers, you know what I mean? Or just, there will be a period where it's like you will have to, I feel like you have to put yourself out there, but like, if you have any questions for me, you know what I mean? And that's a conversation, I think the great thing about that, it's just a conversation between you and him. Like, it does, I don't know, I knowing you personally, I feel like you just have so much, like, I see you with him, you know what I mean? You're amazing with him. You're so honest and nurturing with him without being smothering. I think that you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I don't think that, like,
my most important job I've ever had in my whole entire life.
Yeah. But I think that it's okay to, like, of course, like, when we were all younger, we did things that we think now, like, damn, that was kind of reckless. But in that mindset, I remember making mistakes when I was younger, and I remember thinking, damn, like, what am I going to tell myself, like, 10 years from now? What am I going to think about the situations that I'm in right now? Like, what am I going to think and what am I going to say? And I remember consciously telling myself, at this point, no one can tell you any differently, like, what you want to do. So just, you know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I do got like probably two more questions. I know,
Jesus
like for sake of time. Nah, but all right, you gotta understand. Like, I'm always mindful of the mission, right? And so there's people that literally believe, you know what, we should advocate for sex work in our neighborhoods, in our community and stuff. And I want people to understand all perspectives, right? So that's why I'm asking these questions. But so if you had a magic wand, like, what's the number one thing you would actually change about the adult film industry? Yeah. So you had a magic wand. What would you change about the adult industry?
I would add more. I would sprinkle truth over it, and I'd change everyone's perspective and sprinkle truth on it.
Right. And then my final question, and then I'll
Ambiguous excuse.
So, if you had to talk to a potential young woman who's really considering it, what would be like that one piece of advice that you would give? It could be anything, but that one piece of advice before they go into the industry, or maybe the advice that could prevent them from going in.
Okay, I would say, hi, lovely. How you doing? Wish good. And also, and I want to hold your soul. And I'm sorry that this is an option that you're considering, especially if the reason you're considering it is financially motivated, and more so if it's your main option because there's a lack of other options due to a lack of education and support. I'm sorry, and you're not bad or stupid or any of those fucked up things for considering this. But if you can reach out to me, let's talk about some few other different options, or reach out to somebody else that may not judge you for this. There's so much.
Yeah, like what resources are, if any, can, like, if women want to safely enter the business, because it is a thing. It does exist where women do sex work that's safe, that's consensual, at different degrees or whatever the case. Like, are there particular resources that that women can look to for guidance, like hey, just a heads up, this company is going to say this type of stuff to you if you agree to do blah blah blah, you know what I mean?
I don't know, but you know what, other ladies that are in the business currently and formerly, why don't some of us start like a thing
reshaping
where I don't like if there was some new people that were interested in it, maybe, and like my personal opinion is, please don't do it. I don't think it's good for your soul, but I am not judging you if you feel like this is what you want to do, or if you are in love with doing this and this is all you want to do. Like, I want to talk to you about it. I'm curious.
Can I just add one last thing? I swear this is it.
I really. Yeah.
But when you said like it's not good for your soul, what do you mean by that? Are you looking at it from like, say, like from a
my
religious,
personal?
Yeah, like are you saying like your religion or your spirituality is, you feel like you're going against your beliefs, or like
setting standards in any area? So with my eating, if I eat like crap, then my body will respond that way. If I am partaking in these toxic, nasty relationships, then I will continue. My standards will be like that. And if I how do I answer that for your soul? I got
one last question.
I didn't even answer it, G.
This nigga.
No, I'm adding on to this one.
You promised.
Let me just add on to this one. So, like when people say, like when you have sexual intercourse with a person, a piece of their soul you adopt. Do you feel like you've experienced that? Especially in the adult industry where you're sleeping with multiple people. Do you feel like you're absorbing their energy?
Yeah, I do. I think you connect with that. And I read a book that said women who allow multiple men to I be trying to say things the proper way. Women that let people come in them become insane because there's blood and sweat, your DNA, all of this different DNA is being extracted into you.
Biblically, I heard that it said that like a man makes a deposit inside of a woman.
I think these are all great analogies. Yes, I think when you're having sex with someone, it's bigger than what we understand, right? And if we're not being shallow about this experience, we're not doing it like mad quick. Then there's some there's some demons that you can let into your life. I hear exactly what you're saying. That's not. I didn't say that. You said,
yeah, right.
Oh, no, when you say a deposit,
my nigga Rose is ad-libbing.
You did.
When you say a deposit, this is how I look at it. When you say a deposit, right? When you say a man makes a deposit, you do have to be kind of picky about who you let make this deposit, or you could let demons into your life.
Yes.
So what does that
I
say
agree
about the guy?
with
Okay.
I'm
what
not
you
saying that
said.
for you.
All right.
I'm not saying that's what you did. I'm just saying, I mean, we're talking about young girls making decisions. I'm just saying be
I know.
mindful and choosy and
the
picky.
reason no.
But
Well, I've always
Well, I don't wanna-
advocated,
I
I've
don't-
you
advocated
can't
for
end on
safe.
that
I just
note.
want to say I've always advocated
Well-
for safe sex. That was one of the things some of the California producers didn't like. They said you need to lose
What
the
is this?
condoms,
Mm-hmm.
and
You said lose the condoms?
Yup. Yes, they
Listen.
did.
sorry, guys.
No.
We really I gotta cut this. So maybe if you want to give one last word,
Closing remarks.
a closing remark. G, you got any closing remarks? Sheen's got any just one last word?
What does it say if
Came with a question.
well, we can leave the listeners with this question. If a man is doing that and you're letting demons in, does that mean that men are demons?
No, I'm just saying the right, depending on the
Possible
guy. I didn't
deposits
say
could
that
be
men are
demons or
demons.
angels.
That shit was wild. Yo,
He
listen, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having
He said
me, you
change
guys.
the subject real quick.
You know what? Thank you.
You know what, y'all? It's
Love,
been
love,
real.
love this show, and I'm so honored to
Yes.
be able to
Oh, no, we're honored to have you.
Yes,
go through my
absolutely.
therapeutic process.
No, yeah, we're happy to be, do that with you. Right? We're happy that you came and just kept it real. I had an awesome conversation, and I think our listeners will appreciate it. You know what I mean? And hopefully they take something away, or take away something from both these episodes. Again, this is part 2. So if you didn't listen to part 1, definitely go check that out. That's episode 16. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, of course, Instagram. Everyone listening to us on iTunes, make sure you leave a comment or give us a rating. YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like us on Facebook. Shout out to our guests. And that's it. It's You Panic. It's You Panic. See you next time.
I ain't never had much. When I got cash, I was living like that. I like that. In the store, like grab that, put that in the bag. I like that. Gotta have that. I never had shit, nigga, back that. We addicted to this fashion. Ooh, gotta have that off-white, yeah. In the store, like grab that, put that in the bag. I like that. Gotta have that. I never had shit, nigga, back that. We addicted to this fashion. Ooh, gotta have that off-white, yeah. In the store, like grab that, put that in the bag. I like that. Gotta have that. I never had shit, nigga, back that. We addicted to this fashion. Ooh, gotta have that off-white, yeah. That's that off-white. Told my man I dropped 777 on some off-white tracks. Yeah. Told my man I dropped 777 on some off-white tracks. Yeah. Women be shopping, niggas be shopping. Out here not owning but copping. Wild people watching. Black car magic, Randy Savage, gotta have it. Oh yeah. Maybe with Trump in office, maybe it'll make it clear. Rich people don't care what you wear, what you're worth, what you got in your hair, what you bought. As long as the money is theirs when it clear. Hey, when it clear in the bank, even if it don't clear, it's still theirs, yeah. Cause you don't spend your money with yourself, you spend it with them. That's that off-white. Told my man I dropped 777 on some off-white tracks. Yeah. Told my man I dropped 777 on some off-white tracks. Yeah, tracks. I met a young man, expect to be rich. How you gonna be rich when you don't own shit? Cop Louis Vuitton, but ain't got a home. Cop Louis Vuitton, but living with his mom. You can start a business, employ your own. Holla at the drug man, get your loan. Hire back the block, get back the block. Now we legit. Plead the fifth, I don't know nothing. Jigger moves, I'm strutting. Lucas vibes, I'm strutting. Black Wall Street cousin. Fan, African Sandman. Putting my money in black hands, man. That's that off-white. Yeah. 7-7 on some off-white tracks. Told my man I dropped 7-7 on some off-white tracks. Off-white tracks. Money is money, I'm stunting. Opening hair salons, open a store or two, open a food spot, open a juice bar, cop the laundromat, and a bodega.
My nigga bought a bodega. This nigga bought a damn bodega. Shopping.